All right. Hello. Today I have Ibrahima Guimba from SES. He is the head of the African market for SES, the satellite provider. And we're happy to have you here today. Appreciate your time. And since you cover the African market, it's very interesting and very new, and I think a market that probably Western Europeans and people from over on my side of the Atlantic are not very familiar with. So maybe introduce your market, introduce yourself, and introduce your market very briefly, and what you're doing for SES there.
Okay. Thank you very much for the opportunity. As I mentioned, I'm Ibrahima Guimba. I'm the head of the operation for SES for the African continent. Actually, I'm joining SES at a very exciting moment. I think you have seen it across probably the various industries, not only in telecoms, that Africa is getting more and more, let's say, time. It's being more and more in the spotlights. That being said, I mean, it's a continent with a lot of opportunities, a lot of capabilities, but that also goes with a lot of challenges. And us as SES actually are trying to address the African market in a very, let's say, smart way. We're trying to be very organized, we're not going just, full square. Yeah. But trying to pick our battles, if you will.
Well, and of course, Africa is not one country. You have many, many opportunities there. So what's your focus as you come into the market?
I mean, our focus that's, one advantage of the satellite is that, with one satellite, you more or less cover the whole continent. So that's one. I think from the technological perspective, you can go after the whole 54 countries at once. But what we're trying to do, again, is to make maybe baby steps. Right, it doesn't help to start running from day one. Mm-hmm. Let's make sure that we focus on the right sectors where we can firm up our presence, where we can build something that is tangible and sustainable, mm-hmm. and also that adds value, to the bottom line.
So be specific. What would those things be? Would that be traditional video services or something else? I know you talked earlier about new telecommunications opportunities and two-way communications and IP and all kinds of wonderful things, and I would have to believe that with so many remote areas in Africa, those would be opportunities for you.
Definitely. I mean, and as I said earlier in my presentation, I mean, there is basic needs. Communication. I mean, it's like universal needs. Whether you're in non-urban areas, actually, it's on purpose that I'm using non-urban instead of rural, mm-hmm. because rural has, in my view, a negative connotation. I just want to say non-urban in the sense that people who live in remote areas have the same rights and needs than people who live in big cities.
Sure.
Right. So how can we, and that's where the technology helps, and that's where, let's say, the past experience in developed markets such as Europe or Americas, mm-hmm. can help us actually bridge that gap efficiently. We're going to use technology to take to non-urban areas services that they need in a cost-efficient manner.
Provide one example.
One example, I mean, you mentioned TV, right? Mm-hmm. Now, the reality today is that TV is becoming like, it's more than TV. Beside TV, beside entertainment, basically you put in education, you address, health issues. Let's say basic development, needs can be addressed that way. One element that we presented earlier is, let's say, Sat IP, right? A crazy idea we might have in play is to try to take Sat IP from the very beginning into those non-urban areas. Why not?
To have two-way communication?
Absolutely, to have two-way communication, and also to help use that medium, to aggregate content and distribute it efficiently. One example, you take, let's say, the tablets. Nothing prevents us today to have tablets in non-urban areas because right. they can be built in such in cost-efficient ways. You can use solar panel to power them, right? You can build them at a very cost-effective way. Why take, let's say, laptop even, mm-hmm. if you can have a tablet?
Right.
And then if you can have tablets, you can combine, again, through the likes of Sat IP content, whether it's linear TV, whether it is specific or special programs that address some of those mm-hmm. needs. So that's let's say that ecosystem that we're trying to find ways to build efficiently.
So you talk about two-way communication and non-urban communities or non-urban users. Are you seeing part of your mission to be to enable communities, to create communities? Thinking of an education application, if I'm a virtual university or a virtual school, do you see that kind of thing within your scope at SES?
Absolutely, and actually we have been discussing and talking to most of those universities, again, both in Western countries as well as in Africa, because you have also expertise in some of, in many African countries. Why can't we, let's say, cross-share that expertise? Why can't we take, let's say, a professor at the University of Pretoria teaching students in Nigeria? So those type of things, yes, that we are working on, and really putting a lot of time and effort to do that. We're bringing them together. We have put in place a program called the SES Caravan. Why Caravan? Because when a caravan moves, right, and then usually when a caravan stops in a country, there are a lot of activities around that. And also we feel that by doing it that way, each of the 54 countries in Africa will feel unique. You have many neighboring countries who basically do not have anything in common. It's not because they're African that it's one fits all model. We're not doing that.
Unlike what American politicians think. All right. So I have two more questions. One question is, one of the themes of the presentations today was a view from 25 years in the future, to look back and to say, this is what happened in the past 25 years, starting in 2012, ending in, 2037, when we're old men. So tell me your vision in your market for the next 25 years.
I'm very, bullish when it comes to African market. I would like to be naive to some extent, and I'm a positive by nature. I would say, let's say, 25 years from now, many African countries actually being even in the lead when it comes to certain areas, even in technology, because you'll be surprised when you see today how creative people have been even in non-urban areas when they have been in touch with technology. So I think it is a bright future. It's going to be, even in Africa, a media-enabled society. The purchasing power on the continent will continue to increase significantly, especially as democracy takes more and more, its critical role, and we see it. You take few countries. I don't want to specifically name one, but there are many, let's say, countries in Africa where within a short period of time, because of the implementation of democracy, because the rights decisions have been made, because technology has been used efficiently, those countries have made significant jumps. And I think we're going to see more and more of those. And Africa, in many instances, actually will be at the forefront, actually.
That's very exciting. Well, thank you for sharing your thoughts and your perspectives from Africa. Again, this is Ibrahima Guimba, and I'm Steve Hawley, and thank you very much, and good evening.
Thank you very much.